Hi Archers! Patch 1.3.6 is slowly rolling out to Android users and will soon be released to iOS users not too long after. There are many new things added and some changes, and overall, I feel that this update is not that great. My name is Teeds. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and click the bell for more Archero videos. First, let's go through all the new abilities that Archero has revealed. There are 9 new abilities added in this update. I've gone ahead and grabbed footage for most of these abilities to see what they do. First ability, Attack Plus. Every time you clear a level without taking damage, your damage will increase. I'm not sure how these numbers are calculated yet, but my damage increased around 93 to 96 every level. So let's say Attack Plus granted me 96 more damage. In around 10 levels cleared without taking any damage, I would gain an extra 960 damage. Next ability is HP Plus. Same thing, except your max HP will increase. For this one, I gain around 145 to 146 per level, so in around 10 levels, I would gain an extra 1460 max HP. Next, we have Crit Plus and Speed Plus. Same concept once again. You will gain increased crit rate / chance for the Crit Plus and extra attack speed from Speed Plus. I was able to get the Crit Plus footage. This does not increase your damage, it only increases your crit rate, not the single number itself. I don't know the exact rate at this moment. I wasn't able to find Speed Plus, but it's pretty straightforward. So these are the first 4 abilities. It's a whole new family of abilities. I think it's a little underwhelming because it's a risky ability in itself, and in my opinion, the issue with these abilities is that it seems to only be useful for the early game, but doesn't make a huge difference in your late game, especially when it's really hard to avoid projectiles and enemies in the later stages. So overall, I think it's a risky ability in general. In my experience, I was only offered these abilities around the beginning of a run, so I'm not sure if this is intentional or not. If you were offered this in the later stages, like mid to late game, I would say skip it completely. These abilities are also not great for wave chapters and boss chapters, as there are limited levels on these chapter types and also much more likely to take damage. Next, we have Speed Aura. Increases your attack speed once in a while. I actually enjoy this ability. I don't know the attack speed, but it was extremely fast as you can see here, and even though it is time limited, the attack speed buff here was a lot faster than picking up one attack major. This attack speed aura lasts for 2 seconds and comes up every 8 seconds according to my footage. I went frame by frame in 2 different places, so while the description says once in a while, it seems to be every 8 seconds for 2 seconds. Next ability is Crit Aura. Same concept as Speed Aura, your crit rate / chance is increased once in a while, also 2 seconds every 8 seconds. Next ability is HP Gain Aura. Same concept as well. Your health is increased once in a while. It's also probably 2 seconds every 8 seconds. I wasn't able to pick this one up, but I'm assuming it's something like your max HP is a bit higher for 2 seconds and then returned to normal. This is another family addition added into Archero. I actually like the auras better than the Plus family. It always happens, it's not risky. While the Plus family has more consistency, it doesn't rely on you beating a level without taking any damage, which is a lot of pressure. The last 2 abilities will be an addition to the Elemental Arrows and Circle Elemental abilities. We have Dark Touch. Places a 1-second time bomb on the target. This will explode and deal 90% modified damage in an AoE around the target. Obsidian Circle just places the same effect on an enemy. The pro of this ability is that the AoE damage is pretty high. I find that this would be suited against enemies like the bees, melee skeleton enemies, and the splitting bees in chapter 13. The con of this ability is that I often find myself defeating most enemies before the AoE or damage explodes. This is not an instant ability. There is no initial damage from this arrow when you hit the target. It will only take damage once it explodes. So that's the biggest con I find about this ability. It is good, like I said, against like the bee boss in chapter 8 or 9, I don't remember exactly. But if you are taking a long time to defeat mobs and you don't have really any other good abilities, I don't find this ability the worst, just not the best either. My suggestion to improve this ability is force explode it if the mob dies early. That way there will always be an explosion and it's not wasted. That is all for the new abilities. I have mixed feelings, but they don't seem that game-changing or fun in my honest opinion. It does increase the pool more now, so it is harder to get good abilities like multi-shot and rage, etc. That's the biggest issue I have. I won't add them into a tier list just yet until I know the exact numbers and rates, but at the moment it's just gonna make everything a little bit more harder. There are also a lot of ability suggestions from players from the community that seem so much better and have more thought into it, so I'm wondering why Archero asked us for ability suggestions when they just gave us these abilities and didn't use some of the ideas that players have suggested. The next two ability families I want to talk about is the Meteor and the Star abilities. These have also been changed, and while the improvements I feel don't make them top tier abilities, they are no longer abilities that must be avoided. The Meteor abilities will now fall onto enemies you are targeting. However, if you have a strong knockback, like if you're using the Death Scythe like I was, I actually push them out of the Meteor most of the time since it's still pretty slow when it comes down. As for the Star abilities, they also now target the enemy you're hitting, and I find the Star abilities much better than the Meteor abilities, especially when they're stacked. The Star abilities, instead of just coming randomly and exploding into 4 directions, they all come at once on the enemy. I'm quite happy with the Meteor and Star ability changes, although I still prefer many other abilities over them. At least it's not too much of a hassle to have if you land on one on the chance wheel. How do you guys feel about the new abilities and the ability changes to the Star and Meteor? Okay, now let's go through the good, the bad of this patch. First, the good. You can now hide coins in the battleground. This is great news because less distractions, which means better performance on yourself, and also less lag, so better game performance from your phone. Sapphires have also been added to the time reward. Ads are available to increase time reward bonuses and are also completely optional. I know some people hate watching ads, but I actually like this optional feature because the extra coins and materials are very nice to have. Then we have color revisions of the Spring Festival event, as a lot of players complained it was hard to see. It should be a bit easier now, and also the coin option is also making it easier. There are now more rewards in the Battle Pass, and the staff homing issue is now fixed. Now for the bad, for most players, a new rarity, Ancient Legendary. This new rarity is after Legendary and can only be fused with 2 Legendary items of the same type. So usually you have to fuse 3 items of the same item, but this one is a little different. According to a Reddit user who fused 2 legendaries, they do not have to be the same item, hence the description the same type. Instead, it can be any 2 legendaries of the same category. So 2 different legendary weapons can fuse into an ancient legendary. When doing this, you'll have to put the item you want first. So legendary tornado and then a legendary bow will fuse into an ancient legendary tornado. Ancient legendary items gain 20 plus extra levels as well as the other stats. There is no bonus stats like once you hit epic, so I find that a little lame, but this is I guess good for those who spend a lot, and I mean a lot, of money on Archero. For most of us, it will be very hard to reach that point. It's a little easier I guess because it's 2 legendary items of the same type, but still, getting 1 legendary is already so hard and I'm nowhere close. The problem I personally have is that I think they should improve perfect epic items and legendary items first, before adding a new rarity. There are no additional stats for perfect epic or legendary. If you don't know, epic items gain an extra special stat. Perfect epics are 3 epics fused together, and legendary is 3 perfect epics fused together, and they do have to be the same item. At the moment, there are no special additional stats for legendary or perfect epic, which in my opinion pretty much sucks because it's so hard to reach. While the dismantling feature is not the best at the moment, I do wish they communicated that or shared that they will be adding a new rarity. Some players have already dismantled items that may have helped them reach ancient legendary. As they already had legendary items, they didn't feel the need to keep the items they were no longer needed or of use. And that is all I have for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below on what you think about this patch. Do you like it? What changes do you think they should make? I'm honestly just waiting for the co-op multiplayer mode. I really want that to happen soon because it's getting a little a little underwhelming with this patch. I was really excited for this patch, but it was honestly not, I didn't like it that much. How do you guys feel about this patch? They did make some good changes though that I'm happy with, but the new abilities are the biggest thing for me and I just didn't really like them. But now it's music/comments time. Thanks Abs14 chill out, it's so much easier now that I have some practice, but the bosses after that are just no joke. I'm so glad my guides and tips have helped you, Aiden. Comments like these really motivate me on my worst days when working on videos. Thank you for watching and supporting me. And hello Energy. My content has been a little slack lately, but back on the grind and pushing through. Many Archero videos coming your way. As always, thank you everyone for your comments. Feel free to subscribe and click the bell if you're new here. Any likes would be very much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts about this patch as I said earlier. I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye!